We should be live.
Excellent. Hello and welcome to the Weekly Word. Today is Thursday, May 16th. I'm Morgan West.
And I'm Rich Parla. And this week we do have a guest with us.
We do.
But before that, if you're not supposed to eat at night, why is there a light bulb in the refrigerator?
You have to mute yourself.
It was muted. I swear it was muted.
I believe you.
Well, the food's going to be afraid of the dark.
Do you think it's on when you close it?
Yeah.
Have you tried?
I
Check it out.
don't know. When was the last time you got inside
This sounds like the
refrigerator?
cat issue all over again.
No. I
You
think
got a
there's...
dead cat in your trunk. Is it dead or is it not dead? Who is that?
No, it's dead. Like, no, you're talking about Schrodinger's
Schrodinger's
cat.
cat.
It's like, yeah, but that's just a matter like you can't see in the box. But it's like, no, you know
Right,
you put
so
a dead
is
cat
the light on
All
in
right.
the fridge or not? That's the
Okay.
question.
John says it is.
John
He says
says
Well,
that
the fun,
food is...
the fun answer is yes. The boring answer is no.
And
Fair
the
enough.
truth is we'll never know.
Well, until we have those windows.
We have to find
Refrigerator with a window.
somebody that we can stuff inside of it and close.
Oh,
What?
you're small enough.
Yeah, but like your refrigerator's tiny.
Not mine. We'll do it to another one. We'll film it. Okay,
Whatever.
we'll do it.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Next week.
Next week.
We have a number of topics to discuss today. But up first, we're going to be discussing how to handle missing players. We did touch on this in another subject fairly recently when we were talking about the side quest opportunities,
Yes.
which I loved. Do you remember who that was that brought us that story?
I don't, and now I feel ashamed that I should.
We'll have to add it. We'll add it into the description at the end of the
we will.
video.
We will.
But that said, what do you think?
Oh, about missing players?
Yes.
Well, we had a missing player last night, and it was last minute. We
Really?
thought we were going to have everybody that we were supposed to have,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't. So I was like, you know what? We're going to play something. There was 3 people there. We were going to play something. I started them on a side quest, and damn it if they didn't want to go on that side quest.
Oh, really?
They didn't want to go on it so bad, they went back to the main adventure.
Mm.
So I had to write. So then I had to. Then how do I handle the missing person now? So what happened was they were in the last room that they were at, and they heard a screaming kobold behind them. So they turned around and it was running by with its arms in the air screaming, and the missing person went running after it. So they went chasing after her for a little bit, and then they got tired of chasing after them, and they decided, no, we're going to keep going on with the mission. She can catch up later.
Funny. See, I had a missing person in my Tuesday night game this week, and we handled it at first with a surprise. He's disappeared by being dragged underground by a Dow. And then the rest of the episode was us trying to reach this player, and then they were magically brought back to us by another creature, and then they were unconscious for the rest of the evening.
Murphy says that the light is definitely off.
The light is off.
She says it's totally off.
Totally off.
Too dark? Too bright?
No, in the refrigerator.
Oh.
Oh. Well, yeah,
Come on, you have to understand how
there's
Murphy
switch.
comments.
Like, yeah, there's like a switch where you clean. I told you
I'm with you,
the boring
Smurfy.
answer is no.
That's why I don't think Smurfy understands the fun of us trying to put you in a refrigerator to find out if the light goes off when we close the door.
Well,
Well,
especially
science
when
says
they
we
don't know my
need to
name.
find out.
It's-
Right
we
now,
said
it's
John,
just a
right?
theory.
You didn't know. You said like but first, and then you started talking about
Wait.
something else.
Your name is right under your face.
Yeah, but you didn't introduce. Like it's just
People
like
can read.
fine. Hi, I
Let
am John.
us pause
Yes.
and introduce
No,
our
the-
good friend John here. John has joined us
stretch
from
it.
Legendary Realms. Oh, you're so mean. No, John actually was one of the first people who introduced me to the Tuesday night D&D game.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, great. I have him to thank for this.
You should
I'm just gonna lean back and just gonna
praise
slug you.
him. You should praise him for bringing me into your life. You should. I'm a joy.
Yes.
Next topic.
No, before
What's-
we continue, I think we should say that we found this topic from SlyFlourish. And
yes.
SlyFlourish
It was a retweet
had,
from...
mhm.
Yes.
They had an article on their website which suggested a number of different reasons, different ways to handle it, which I liked. Keep the game running at the end of the day is what they suggested first and foremost, is that no matter what you decide to do, you want to keep that in mind.
And I think I've used every one of these. Simply ignore that they're missing and keep going. In the fiction, send the character off to engage in some other activity. We've all used that, right, John? Let another player run the character. Let the DM run the character. Cancel the game. We have done all of that. All of us have done all of that.
Now, that said, in terms of allowing other people to run your character, I'm in support of that in a very specific, limited aspect, and that's in combat. I don't want people running my character out of combat, and I like make that known.
I can understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's no need to like say like, well, if their character's not around, yeah, maybe they might want to be part of this conversation, but we don't know how they're going to go, so
Exactly.
let's not.
I'm the opposite.
I actually,
Really?
speaking
I don't
of the
want people
Tuesday
using
thing,
my
and I
comment.
think you might have been at the table when this happened. Do you remember the Lyle's solution?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I do remember the
So,
Lyles. I
and
loved the Lyles.
nobody else
solution.
does.
Well,
So, okay.
Including
fill them
myself.
in.
We had a very
We do like to keep this under
unique
an hour.
player. We had a
Yes.
very unique player who had a character called Lyles, and Lyles used to do crazy things all the time, to the point where people would try to guess what Lyles would do.
Mm-hmm.
Lyles also, however, though, used to have to leave the game about an hour or 2 hours early, depending on the night. So the rule is that when Lyles left, he'd pass his character over to somebody else, and that other
Randomly,
person
we rolled
randomly,
dice.
yes, we randomly rolled who that person would handle, and mostly for combat, typically for combat. But that person had to act in a way that Lyles would have acted, otherwise they could not take the actions with the character. One of which I think that like were perfectly fine was like, okay, so like you're in a fight with a couple of orcs, and what do? Oh, I want to body slam them through a table. That's not Lyles enough. I want to hit them with the table. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And it's just wacky stuff like
I
that.
had a good time playing Lyles. I enjoyed that very much.
What did you do as Lyles?
These guys are
Do you remember,
ridiculous.
like, was it like tackling
I
somebody through a
think
window?
it was
or...
during the combat when Raphia first encountered the Gorgon. I think it was during
Oh, the
that.
Gorgon, yeah.
Yes. And I think he turned into his snake
Yes.
and he slid up someone's pants and
Yes. It was
body
distracting.
slammed through them.
Would
I
that make
think.
it a trouser snake?
It was a trouser snake. And
Well, what
he
happened was he
called it back.
he polymorphed into a snake,
He
crawled
did,
into
in
the
fact, call
trousers,
it his
and then
trouser
transformed
snake.
out of it
Just
in
saying.
snake form, so like their clothes
Look,
just exploded.
You guys set that up.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on, but that's very
Okay.
funny. I
Yeah.
actually like that. I
Yeah.
do like that
You
idea.
just- you have to- you can
have
only
to
act
act like the
into the
character.
character.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Randomized handoff. I enjoyed that very
So,
much.
what's in a name? What's the most common D&D name?
Steve?
Well, see, that's what be a guess. Okay, all right. What would you guess?
Okay, Moradin. I've heard it way too many times.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Maybe you should stop saying it, and you wouldn't hear it as much. But anyway,
Girl,
aside
I
from that,
swear.
apparently on RPG News, there's a poll, and the most popular D&D character name is Bob.
It's BS.
No.
That's like Bodie
No.
McBoatface.
You should-
That is a Bodie McBoatface situation.
So interestingly enough, here are some of the other names.
Okay.
Varys.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I've heard that one a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not.
As a matter of fact, I think I've named a character Varys.
Really?
An NPC, not a PC, but an NPC. Nyx.
I've
I
heard
wonder
that.
if Steve would understand because
Doesn't
he had a character named
Doesn't
Nyx.
Dana have a character named Nyx?
Oh yeah, she does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Maybe it's not Steve. Luna, Ash, Jack,
Jack, no.
Lilith.
Actually, yeah, I guess so.
Lilith. The reason why I see Lilith is every time there's a random name generator, Lilith comes up a lot.
Interesting.
Nyx spelled differently. Zephyr, I've seen that one. Rogar, Cleric,
Cleric,
Bard, Raven. Raven I can understand. I thought Raven would be higher. Ember and Shadow.
No.
Shadow's a
So
barbarian,
edgy.
by the way.
So
I try to go
edgy.
out. I try to go out of my way to like give unique names to my characters.
I
Like, I
do
mean, sometimes
too.
you could have a basic one, but you still would have to have. I like something that's off the beaten track, like
Something
Ezekiel, like Ezekiel, Jebediah. You know,
Evil Nicophyson?
no, you just bad shadow stabby.
Somebody
face
out there
dude.
will get that.
I enjoyed that. Who brought that to us?
That was brought to us by SlyFlourish retweeted Morris's
Okay.
tweet.
Very cool.
So that's where it came from. The links are all in our descriptions below. So if
Perfect.
you want to go check out the article yourself, I shamefully admitted that there have been NPCs in my campaigns named Bob. And
I've never had an NPC named Bob.
I have also run a lot of one-shots, and inevitably there's somebody who names their character Bob for
I
some
have
stupid reason.
So the starting town in my campaign was full of like really old generic English names, like every single one of them. And I'd love to open up the document on my computer just to read the NPC names because they're all like really like on the nose. So our next topic is the end of effective counter spells.
So this one was interesting.
Yeah, I thought when I came across this, I was like, oh no.
Could you a little explain? Because I
Yes,
have not heard this.
yes.
All right, so you know what counterspell is. right?
Yeah, like somebody throws a spell, you counterspell.
Counterspell.
Like it's like you're talking about in D&D.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I'm thinking more
The ability,
Magic.
yeah.
so
Not in real life. Like when you came up the
No.
stairs, they couldn't throw a
Yeah.
counterspell that you wouldn't come up the stairs.
Right.
Well, I mean, you could just shut the door.
But that's true. I didn't think of that. All right.
Look
So
at
anyway,
this.
But you're talking about like reactions. Like you're talking about like a
Yes,
spell
that's
that is a
exactly-
reaction.
Exactly.
Okay,
So, according to Xanathar's guide, identifying the spell that's being cast is a reaction. And because you can only take one reaction on your turn, it's now impossible to identify and counterspell.
so you have to use counterspell at your own risk.
Right, completely blind.
It's like, oh, he's casting a spell at you. What spell is it? I can't tell you. What are you doing?
I mean, that would make sense because there's been a lot of combats that I've run into. I'm like, all right, he's preparing a spell. Counterspell, like, so you had counterspell prepared and you knew what he was planning on casting.
Well, that's another
but
problem with
here's-
metagaming too, is that we have a tendency to just declare what it is we're doing.
But that's players' problems, right? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
metagaming,
It's not
you're
like
right.
it's not like
I've
sometimes-
seen it a lot of times.
It's
Except-
not like you see a wizard and he's like, fireball, fireball, fireball.
Right.
Well, not in the game, they're not doing that. Like,
Mhm.
Right,
you might
that's
be.
true, but it might be.
Well, maybe
But
it is.
but what was interesting, what came up yesterday in the game is we had to read the shield spell because someone was asking about it. So we read it. We read the shield spell, and the shield spell, you don't have to.
My back is itchy.
You-
Don't draw attention to it. You're making it
So
more
just
obvious.
lean forward.
There you go.
All
What a
right.
good
There you go.
friend.
So the problem is that with shield, you don't have to cast it until after you get hit. So it does really kind of diminish counterspell a lot.
It does.
You know, all of a sudden it's almost no use.
Well, I
Unless
also...
unless you take your reaction to figure out what it is, and I cast
Well,
counterspell.
you know what it is?
here's my question: is as the DM, right?
Yes.
Would you provide any leniences for a spell that one of your players is proficient in? Like, if it's a prepared spell of theirs, would you give them the benefit of recognizing the spell being cast?
But so that's a specialized case. Number one.
Okay.
Number two. Because it's a specialized case, how do you know? So I can counterspell anybody who casts a spell that I'm proficient at me. That still, then what are the chances that that's always going to be opposite me? Number one, that I'm going to memorize counterspell as one of my spells for the day in one of my slots, right?
Right, you'd still be
Well-
taking the risk.
Well, what about this? What about spells that have somatic components? And like, if it's a spell that you cast, wouldn't you know?
Well, this is
What
what I'm
the-
saying, is that as a DM, what would be your take? Would you allow your player to recognize the spell?
Well,
Would
here's-
you give them
well-
the benefit of, like, let's say, if that's a spell that they know,
Well, let me ask you
it's a
another question.
prepared
Like, this
spell,
might be
or in their book, wouldn't you think that they would recognize it being cast?
Let me
and
ask
if
you another-
that's the case, well, then would you let them counterspell it, knowing what it was?
Well, let me ask you this, and this might be because I don't play too many spellcasters. Does counterspell only prevent a spell from being cast, or does it, like, if a spell is cast, it will undo that spell?
No. It prevents it from casting. It basically automatically interrupts. So from D&D Beyond,
Okay.
your attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell, if the creature is casting a spell of 3rd level or lower, its spell fails and has no effect. It really, truly, because you don't have to worry about spells being cast at you. You worry about, it could be spells cast at anybody that you
Right.
can counterspell.
Right.
So maybe it's effective. I don't think I would do that. I wouldn't give somebody with their proficiency. I think they would just have to know, you know, counterspell is almost a spell for effect. Right? You go into a situation and somebody gets up all on their haunches
Banishment,
and that,
would that qualify? Because I feel like I've seen it in situations like that.
it's possible, sure. You don't know that they're casting banishment though.
Well, see, here's the problem. The problem is that my experiences with it, because I have never played a game where someone uses counterspell, have been exclusively in podcasts. And these podcasts are more evocative when the DM is telling you exactly what they're doing.
Fair enough.
So they are announcing what they're doing, and these players are responding to what the DM is telling them.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
there is certainly a level of metagaming there.
So I'm just going to quickly go to the top chat at the moment. We
Okay.
have Smurfy and Chaotic Anarchy. David Vanderworth has not joined the fray yet. I
Okay.
suspect he'll be here
I'm sure you
at
will.
some point. But so thank you for joining us. Smurfy would like to put John in the refrigerator, and she's okay with that.
Okay.
But at the same time, she would like to put me in the freezer.
Oh,
And so my question to Smurfy was, why me in the freezer? You think I'm that cold? And she says, to be decided. It's probably already
Yeah, but the
decided.
freezer
Right?
doesn't have. Yeah, there's no light in the freezer.
Apparently, Smurfy's has. She says it. My freezer has a light.
Really?
This is wasted
That's
real espace. I
interesting,
feel like there's never enough room in a freezer, so
No,
you
there
need the
isn't.
maximum amount of volume you can get.
This
out of
is
it.
gonna get me in on a tangent, though, so we should probably stop talking about the freezer because I do have questions about freezers.
I'm gonna make a campaign that involves a freezer or
Mhm.
no, a refrigerator at some point,
Yeah.
and it's gonna have a permanent light spell cast inside it.
That's too funny.
All right, let's quickly move on.
Mhm.
You find an
We'll
iron
come back.
box.
So
I'm
that
sure we're
was
gonna
a
be back
really
to-
interesting subject, and
Yeah.
I'm eager to hear more about other people's takes on it. So if you have any input on that, do share it with us, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So our next topic is less stress DMing.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to us by the previous one was brought to us by SlyFlourish. SlyFlourish posts a lot of D&D tips.
Yeah, it's great.
We post. I have a link directly to SlyFlourish's blog site. He posts something quite often there, and the tips are excellent. So
Great.
thank you again. Less stress DMing. DMing does not need to be tedious. Use guides and have fun. This was brought to us by Dark Dawn Games.
Mm-hmm.
So as the tweet reads, and there was a meme to it, says, be the change you want to see. DMing doesn't have to be a tedious job where you spend 10 plus hours prepping each week, if you only knew. There are wonderful guides out there like the Lazy Dungeon Master by SlyFlourish, plus pre-made campaigns. You can still have fun with your players.
Yeah.
I think as a new DM, that's the best way to get into the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the right way to get into that game. I think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Don't stress.
Yeah.
When you're running a podcast, on the other hand, you have to put 10 hours plus.
Right. It has to be original content.
It has to be original content. Well, it has to be original content
Well,
for the most
that
part.
does bring a good question as to whether or not can you use pre-made modules.
It all depends on your streaming platform, right?
Is it copyrighted material? Like, are you allowed to share that? I'm curious as,
I don't think if you're monetizing,
Mm-hmm.
you can use somebody else's material
Mm.
for your own benefit.
Right, unless
Which
you
is interesting.
got some sort of like licensing.
Yeah,
Well, no,
unless
not
you get
even-
a okay.
Not if you're like, what if you're like quoting, or what if you're like acknowledging what you're using?
Well, that's
Like-
the question. Think about it. It's someone's content. Like it's like spoiling if you're providing it to a massive group of people. In terms of like, I don't know. I don't think that would be right.
No,
it would
I
be
mean,
like
the thing I would argue
streaming a
about-
movie.
Well, the thing I
Like
would argue
putting
about
Endgame online.
the thing I would argue about that is that number one, with a campaign, you have like the source module is a guideline, but you no.
No, I'm with you.
Because of the dynamics of Dungeons and Dragons, there can be variation. So it's like, games should follow a certain similar path, but there should be enough variation that like no game is going to run the same. That's number one. Number two, though, is that technically, because anybody has access to the books, I mean, they could kind of spoil the campaign themselves without even playing in it. Like, there's plenty of people, like, well, let's say you go to Adventures League and you start playing in Ghost of Saltmarsh is coming out next week. Ghost of Saltmarsh by Dungeons and Dragons. Let's say, like, I'm planning on buying a copy for myself because at some
Can you
point...
just do a plug on our
Yeah.
segment?
What's the new book?
All
Like,
right.
it's, you want to get that sponsorship?
Wait till the plug section.
Continue.
There's stuff there's like resources in the book to be used for, like, hey, if you want to do ship combat, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, and then there's the adventure. But like anybody who's buying that stuff for the ship stuff could read the adventure, and then if they play in somebody else's campaign of that adventure, they kind of know where it's going, like, or at least like they know where it can go. It might not go that same place. And that's the thing, like,
Right.
because you can't stop it. Like, ideally with Avengers, no matter what happens, that movie will always be the same thing. And it's because that's what it's meant to do. You're not meant to watch Avengers and then act out Avengers for other people.
I'm curious
know, a lot of
though
kids
if there
do that.
is anything in the books about copyright and licensing saying no amount of this can be reproduced without X, Y, or Z.
Actually, there are. Right? There is copywriting to such effect.
Well, then
but
that makes me
well,
wonder
doesn't-
whether or not you're allowed to stream a pre-written module.
I think that's a kind of...
Smurfy Power would like to know your folding skills. She thinks I can fit into a freezer with a little bit of effort.
I
Because
think
My
Because
folding skills not
freezer
high.
size-
My chopping skills.
sorry, John.
That's
But
okay.
actually,
Par.
save what you're about to say. We actually have another topic down the road
Well, I'm thinking
that
because this
fits
is
perfectly for this.
Well, because I was going to say, I think this is getting away. This is tangenting from
It
the
is.
idea of a
It
stress-free
certainly is.
D&D.
yeah, you're bringing the stress level way up, man. Way up.
That
you hit yourself
said,
in the
I
head.
do agree, and it really was referencing a meme. I wish we did have the media on
I can get it.
the overlay.
I
That
will
would be
save
great. But it's the image of
That's not what I want
the.
to say.
Well, let him try to see if he can
the-
do it. Like,
are you going to be able to do it immediately?
I'm working on it right now.
Live? All right.
just tweet the thing.
No.
Retweet it.
Retweet it.
I think I already did.
So that said, it's more about feeling comfortable in your own skills to get going as a DM. And I know for myself, I waited a long time before I started DMing. And even now, there are circumstances when I won't DM, even though I've been asked to DM, because there is still a certain level of comfort. You know,
I
there's a
think
difference too in playing for your friends casually and playing for
Well, definitely.
a
I
group
think-
that you're maybe
I
not
think
so
I think
intimate
what
with.
what the story is about is saying, like, if you want to get into Dungeons and Dragons and if you want to try to DM for the first time, don't feel so stressed about it. But that said, like, I think that does primarily fit within the idea of like doing it for people you know, like
Ready?
like DMing
Yes,
in
let's
public.
do it. Let's get that up.
Like DMing in public.
You can just
should
make
I
it
like
big.
lean to the
Yeah, just
side?
stretch
Or,
it
there
out.
we go.
There we go. We're fine.
But DMing for like other
Hold on a
peop-
second, John, because nobody can see your face.
Well, I mean, I can
Which-
still talk, and I can just do this, and my hands show up from the sides of it. So the comic panel is talking.
So this is the meme. Want to read it really quick?
Yeah. So, I wish I knew enough about D&D to be the DM for my friends. It is done. Poof. Nothing's changed. Correct. And it is. It's true.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. It does. It does a great job.
Okay. All right. We can move on.
All right. So our next topic was a fun one from Matthew W. Foreman. Class race alignment assignment. So in this challenge, it asks you to assign your friends with a D&D
Oh, good.
class,
Said
race,
friends. I don't have to do it.
and alignment. And I have one for you, Rich.
It
I
said
don't know
friends.
I consider you a friend.
Damn it.
Is it chaotic grumpy?
So I said that you are a human bard, and your alignment is chaotic neutral.
That would make me psychotic.
I mean,
Not necessarily. Like, burn down
Fair
this
enough.
church. What's in it for me?
A bard. Why bard?
yeah,
Everyone's-
bard. You're very charismatic, and you're very good weaving your stories and convincing people and breaking people's arguments apart. You're good with words.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do that well, don't
Yeah, but I feel like everyone's going to be like a bard. It's either going to be bard or fighter. Like, there's
You
not really
think
too many
so?
people. Well,
No, I counter that with a person that we all know from the game store who was one of my previous DMs, who was a in real life rogue, who would literally perch on top of chairs over the D&D table.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So-
I see.
So, John, what about Morgan here? What do we got?
I would say... I'm
Race.
I think elf.
You think elf?
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I think gnome.
Really?
Yeah?
Yes.
Why gnome? I'm curious.
Either gnome or halfling playful. Yes,
Okay.
but dry.
Mm.
That's why I think gnome over halfling.
Okay.
Halfling
say-
is much not that you don't have a personality, don't take this the wrrong way.
Right. I'm
But I
not.
think it's a brighter personality as opposed to the gnome who can be very dry,
Okay.
but
Okay.
still be very witty.
So wait, now you've said gnome
So
over
halfling.
halfling, but
Gnome,
halfling.
halfling.
So which one?
No,
halfling
no,
or no?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Class. How about a class?
Class, none.
None.
Yeah, you have no class.
Oh,
Come on, that was a
you're
setup and a half.
killing me with
Yeah.
these setups all night. My
I'm going to
God.
say druid.
Druid, really?
Really?
I would not go to Druid, but
Well, you're always
okay.
eating vegetables. I never see you like, really, like
It's so funny.
vegetarian friendly.
It's so funny. funny.
But if she's eating vegetables, then I wouldn't make her a
Oh my
druid.
god, I love it.
No,
She's the anti-druid.
No, but like a druid doesn't like eat nothing but meat. I'm like, no, I have to protect the plants by
That's
eating
really
all the
funny.
meat.
That's hilarious
That's
too
true
because
for
I
you.
It's like a
just
druid,
ate-
like no, leave those trees alone, and just stabbing a deer, just like, "Argh!"
Don't be on my tree.
That's so funny.
Those berries did nothing to you.
Oh my
I'll
God.
kill all you birds. Pshoo, pshoo, pshoo.
What do you think? If it's not druid, what is it?
So it's not barbarian,
Okay.
right? It's not a
Mhm.
fighter.
Mhm.
I don't see fighter. I don't see rogue though
Okay.
either.
Okay.
I did consider that.
Mhm.
I would say more of. I would go with warlock.
I can vibe warlock.
I can absolutely see you be a gnome warlock.
What
Absolutely.
an interesting combo. Maybe I'm gonna have to build myself a gnome warlock. What's my alignment?
Your alignment?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's straight neutral.
Really?
Yeah, pretty close.
I think it's pretty straight neutral because I don't think you've although you like the chaos on the chaotic side. I don't think you veer too much that
No,
way.
I'm too structured.
You're too structured. Absolutely, I think there's a lot more structure. So
I like that. True neutral. That's cool.
Yep.
I'm done with it. John.
oh my God, John is chaotic good.
Okay.
He's absolutely chaotic good.
Definitely
He is,
good.
He's not structured in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Okay, so chaotic good I can vibe with.
But I trust John, and he's a good person, so chaotic good.
I
I'm
feel
good
like
with that.
halfling would work for John.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the nose.
What?
No. Has nothing to do
No,
with your,
for the
there's nothing wrong
exact
with your
same
nose.
for the exact same reason
I do
that
have
you
hair on my
said
toes.
I wasn't necessarily a halfling. You were peppy and fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think halfling. But what's the class?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know.
And we're met with silence. I don't know. I don't know either.
Why don't you just leave it for the
Probably
chat?
a bard. Probably a bard, an
I think-
entertainer.
I think he's definitely an entertainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Very much.
an illusionist.
Wizard.
A halfling illusionist. He's very crafty.
That's true.
I'm a magician at children's parties.
I could see wizard.
Yes. Oh my God. I was
I could see
thinking
wizard.
juggler.
All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm now
All right.
going to make the birthday cake disappear.
Now-
Where is it? I know, I made it disappear. It's not a trick. It's in a different plane. You get what you pay for.
Oh my
Okay.
God, I'd be so upset.
All right, hold on.
But think of how amazing it would be. Like, yeah, like, why are you sad? He made the
Mm.
cake disappear. Yeah, but you're laughing because he made the cake disappear.
All right.
All right, so there's a quick fun game we have for you.
Yes.
Actually, do we want to come back to this because we just did a quick
Yeah,
game?
sure.
So we'll come back to this
So
one.
we're
I give
this is
John
our,
to
yeah.
pick it
That'll,
up.
we'll close it up with that.
Okay.
One. So our next one is incorporating PC's goals.
By Sean Merwin
Yes.
tweeted this. Incorporating. Okay, so what Sean is saying here, I'm going to presume his first name is Sean, even if it does say Sean.
Yeah.
So what Sean is saying here is that even when you're running published adventures, when you're running things that are printed, have your players describe their PC goals and then tweak the adventure so that they can be incorporated in it and don't just run a dry adventure out of a module. And I think a lot of us have done that in the past. I know I did it when I was young, when I was playing first edition many years ago. You just run the module. No. I don't care about your character. You do this. But I think you have to incorporate your character's goals into everything that you do. Because if you don't, people drop out. And then you have rotating, you don't show up, you cancel games, it just falls apart.
Your
It falls apart
character
quickly.
needs to feel invested
Yeah.
in the campaign for an external reason.
Absolutely.
I think like no plot is ever going to be so tight that you feel driven the entire way through.
You're right.
So
You're right. Well, hopefully you're wrong on Mondays. But
Well, that's true.
it
Well,
better be driven.
hopefully you get into a little bit of Nepida's backstory because it's pretty interesting. Let me say.
I know Nepida's backstory. I read it.
I know. I'm just saying.
I have a plan for Nepida.
Oh gosh, that sounds like not positive. That sounds very like,
Ominous? I have
yeah.
a plan for everybody. Except for Lando.
Really?
Yeah, I hope he's not watching.
Well, he's not watching. He's running a game.
Oh, that's right. He's running a game. I need to understand his character a little bit better.
Okay.
Because I don't get it. I'm going to get onto those interviews. I'm gonna get to those. Oh, those interviews would be nice.
I really would love to do that.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna sit down and do those.
I like finding organic ways to kind of grow the character in the game.
I forgot you were here.
Well,
You're
talking
terrible.
over. Well, it's because I'm a halfling. I'm short. You don't. I'm lucky enough that the camera picks me up. But no, I like having like goals for the characters kind of emerge through their actions in the game. I've had. I'm not against like feeding into it if it grows in. I don't know if I've ever actually sat down with it. Well, then again, at the same time, I haven't run games for friends in a long time.
Right.
I've run people who become friends, but I've always kind of run games for in public.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The point is that like in some of the more campaigns that I've done, it's a matter of like, okay, I'm gonna pepper you guys some stuff, and you have a connection to an NPC. I'm gonna build with that a little bit. You have something that like you've kind of been doing, so I'll kind of feed into that path a little bit and kind of work with it from there. Like you want to encourage growth. Like you're right, you don't want to keep it too dry. I would think like rather than having somebody the one tricky thing about it is like you don't want to have it where somebody's plot like becomes a huge component of the overall adventure because
you don't want it to become the sole component of it.
Not necessarily
sole,
but getting back to the original topic about when somebody drops out. Right now, you guys in the Tuesday game are in the middle of a huge chunk of SlyFlourish's story, and when he's like not in on certain times, that can be very disruptive, right?
Absolutely.
Because there's only so much you guys can advance because he's very
just this
a big
week
part
that
of
happened
it.
actually.
Yeah, no, it happens, right. You want to incorporate it, and I guess to the point, right? You want to incorporate it, but you don't want to make it the pivotal plot point because then your entire campaign rests on that. So it's about I have a plan, but my plans change. My plans can change. The one thing about doing the live podcast that I'm finding out is I still have to I do plan and I do kind of give a heads up of kind of where the campaign's going, but at any given time they could thwart me and decide to go and do something completely different, and I need to be ready for that. And it almost happened. But I was actually prepared if it did happen because I was like, oh, well, what if they decide not to go there? Steve's words in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, well, live, I can't just make it up. So I can, and I did, but I want, I should have some foundation. So I did. So I agree.
Well, the crazy thing is like, what if you have something where you have a character whose plots are very important and then that character dies? Like, maybe you're not running a high level campaign where it's like you're doing like a level 3. Like, think about it. Like you're doing like a level 3 or level 4 game, and like you're just come into a combat that you think is either going to be just challenging enough or might even be a cakewalk, and like. I had this thing I was running for. It was an emergency takeover of a game on Tuesday because the DM jumped out, and they had an NPC with him that they were all very fond of, and the enemy double critted on him. And thankfully, he had a decent amount of hit points because he was a decent level NPC. He still went down, and if he was any levels lower than what he was, you would have just seen the NPC just get his head just.
Yeah.
Well,
right
sometimes that's where the DM needs to step in if the plot's critical to that point.
Right.
Hey, but did you yell something like, "Hey, we need a DM stat"?
It was more along the lines.
Didn't show up.
It was more along the lines of
Clear.
I got an email about an hour before the game saying, "Hey, I'm not feeling good. I need somebody to take over." And it's just like, "Whoa, that's gonna be me."
Did he sound sick or was he faking it?
Well, it was in an email. It was just like my throat is really sore.
Very sick.
What was it? What was the tone of the email?
Did
he type cough?
It was in green text. You can tell he wasn't feeling good because it was in green text. No, but it's a matter of but that also could be very interesting too. Like imagine having like this storyline or whatever, like where again it's not predominant. You don't want it overtaking the campaign as a whole. But you have it where, like, this character has a very big plot, and they just die. And then, like, how does that impact the rest of the players? Like, does the plot move on without them? It's like, oh, they were trying to right this terrible wrong. Do you take up their burden and say, like, no, we need to do this for them. It's what they would want.
Right.
Or it's like, oh, no, like, they're never going to get justice for their parents. Like, that whole family just went out.
Like, going way back, when the Dragonlance modules came out, after the Dragonlance books, they wrote in, Weiss and Hickman wrote right into the module, if something were to occur and one of the characters that needs to survive dies, the DM needs to have divine intervention and step in and say, and so that the character can live on. Because the books were already written. you were running like you were running a quest that was in parallel to them, playing along with some of the history. So it made perfect sense.
So the thing is, I would do. I would make it part of the adventure is getting them back. Like, oh, you need to bring that character back. Go get him. Like the deity can only do so much.
Deities can do whatever they want.
I had in a campaign I did the first justifiable team killing I had ever seen. And it was great and terrible in that the person who did it was 100% justified. The person who they killed was kind of becoming evil without even really realizing it. The downside was it immediately put a huge wedge in between the party members, and I had to kind of like fix that. And then we had to figure out, well, how are they coming back to life? Like,
maybe. I think so. All right, John, we're gonna do a quick game.
Okay.
So as soon as we start, you have to start thinking about your choices because you did not see this ahead of time.
So you haven't had a
sure.
chance, okay?
Should I cover my eyes?
No, you don't have to.
No.
Can I still cover my eyes?
So
If you want
can,
to.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
absolutely. So we just going to do something quick. This is a team building exercise.
Okay.
It's a fun game, and it's called 6 Bands and a Lie. So it's 5 bands and a lie. You list out 6 bands or artists that you've seen at a show or a gig, and you have to determine which one's the lie. All right?
So I'm naming the bands, or you guys?
So
are
you're gonna hear me name 6 bands
Mhm.
that I'm attesting to having had seen,
Right.
but one of those I have not seen.
Okay.
You have to determine which band it is.
I get it. Okay, so you're gonna name 6 bands altogether. Okay,
Right.
got it.
Yep. And then you're gonna do the same. So if you want, think of those artists that you have seen.
I don't know if I've seen 6 bands. Well, no, I have. It's just gonna have to be a bit of a stretch. Well, like, I haven't seen.
Okay.
Fine,
Okay.
let's
Okay.
go.
You get it. You get
Go
it.
ahead.
Okay. So
Morgan.
here's my 6. Okay. 9 Inch Nails, Ricky Martin, Portugal the Man, Hanson, the B-52s, and Tribe Called Quest.
The problem is the 2 ones that I think would be the least likely are very possible because of the ones you've thrown them in with. So I'm going to say it's possible you've seen Ricky Martin, and it's possible you've seen the B-52s. I know you mentioned seeing Portugal the Man.
You know no such thing, John.
You said it on a previous episode. Like, I have a memory. The question was, were you saying you were going to see them, or that you did see them?
Okay.
Ooh.
That's funny.
I'm gonna. You know what? No, you know what? I'm gonna say Ricky Martin.
Okay, what do you think?
I think the B-52s.
Okay.
I think you're more likely to see the B-52s than see Ricky Martin. Like, it's a Jones Beach show. They're playing with a bunch of other people. What's
Which
the
one?
lie?
John is exactly right.
Nice.
I saw the B-52s at Jones Beach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and Ricky Martin was my toss-up.
Was
I
your
was
lie?
like, I need to come up with some random artist that they're gonna think I saw as like an awkward 13-year-old
The problem is
girl.
you did too much. If you had picked a couple of ones that would have been just fine, and
I
then
thought you might go
the
for a Tribe
B-52s.
Called Quest.
I know
or
that was
9 Inch
that was
Nails?
actually my
No,
first pick.
I could
My
absolutely
first
see you
pick
at
was
9
Tribe
Inch
Called.
Nails.
Yeah.
My
And they've
first
been
pick
around
was
enough.
Tribe Called Quest, but I was like, no, that actually might not be.
Huh. I thought maybe they would think that was too off the mark. That you're like, no, she must have actually seen them.
No, I didn't think it was too off the mark, but I was torn between, I never even questioned Hanson.
No,
Never
it was my first.
questioned.
No, it was my second concert because my first was the B-52.
I never questioned Hanson.
No,
I
loved
was
it.
the reason why Tribe Called Quest I never questioned. 9 Inch Nails I never questioned. I did question. I didn't know Portugal the Man, but it seems so. It seems like it was like because I didn't know it.
Oh, you don't. Oh, they do.
It seemed
Feel It Still.
okay. So it's probably like I probably didn't know the band, but I probably know the song. But because I didn't know it, it seemed like something that would have been true.
Got it.
So and Ricky Martin, I wasn't 100%. I was not 100%.
Okay, that's cool.
Too much.
All right, so now it's your turn. Now we gotta decide what he hasn't seen. So
All right.
go on.
Let me cover my eyes
You're
again.
covering your eyes.
There's no need to cover your eyes, but okay.
Hey, who won the first round?
That's true. That's fair. Maybe we should have covered our eyes. All right. So my quick 6 are. Oh wait, did we have a? No. Okay. So my 6 are Blink 182, Iron Maiden, Exodus, Anthrax, Manowar, and Sick of It All.
The problem is, I know you listen to a lot of those bands, including Blink-182. So the problem is, it's got to be one of the more metal ones. That's. The question is, which one have you possibly not seen?
I'm gonna go with Anthrax.
I'm gonna guess Exodus.
Okay. That's final answers?
Final answer.
You're both wrong.
Who was it?
Blink-182.
Oh, that was the throwaway. Jerk.
I never got to see them live. I do like them. I like them a lot. Exodus was my first concert.
Really? Okay.
Anthrax and Exodus was my second concert.
Wow.
I saw them at Headbangers Ball tour.
I was thinking, like, no, you've probably seen Iron Maiden. I mean, maybe, like, if it was a big enough show, maybe, like, oh, I couldn't get into it.
I don't know Sick of It All, and I'm really not familiar with Man of War, so I was like, it can't be one of those two. He wouldn't pick something that I've never heard of.
I saw Sick of It All. I saw Sick of It All local. They're a hardcore band.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a.
I like hardcore music.
Yeah, they were. I thought they were very good.
All right.
All right, my turn?
Yeah, your turn.
All right,
Let's do it. All right.
All right.
This is probably my favorite part
The
of the
problem
show.
is I need to remember 6 bands that I've seen, so...
Call them out.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
9 Days. Good Charlotte. Something Corporate. Linkin Park. POD. And Motion City Soundtrack. Do me a favor and read those back to me.
Okay.
Actually, no, I think I can remember them myself. 9 Days. Good Charlotte. Something Corporate. Linkin Park. I forget what the other 2 I said were.
You have 9 Days, Good Charlotte, Something Corporate, POD, Linkin Park, and Motion City Soundtrack.
Yes. Okay.
What's your guess?
My guess is Motion City Soundtrack.
I have absolutely no idea here. I don't. Because I think John has listened to everything there. I'm going to guess POD.
Okay. You're both wrong.
Whoa! Okay.
Good Charlotte.
Wow!
To be fair, I owned one of their albums. I also hated them because of the album that I picked up.
Actually, I'm in the same boat as you. But go ahead.
9 Days was it was the first concert my brother ever took me to.
All right.
I have a 9
Motion
CD.
City Soundtrack. I saw going to see Something Corporate at the downtown, and I fell in love, and I picked up all their CDs ever since.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I saw POD and Linkin Park. The problem is I don't remember if it was the same concert.
Well, because I saw Linkin Park and POD opened for them.
Yes, we went to the same concert. It was at Nassau Coliseum?
Yes.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
That's funny.
All right,
I forget if it was...
That was before I knew you.
I enjoyed this. This was good.
That was before I knew you.
God, I was like 17.
Yeah.
All right.
I wasn't.
All right, so let's continue.
All right,
the
so-
next up is what are we?
Okay, so what are we reading? What we are reading, watching, and listening to. So what we are reading, I am reading the last book in the series by Richard K. Morgan. The name of the book is The Dark Defiles, and a land bound for heroes. I didn't write it down. I apologize. But Richard K. Morgan is the author of Altered Carbon and that series of books. And this is the third and final book, and I am 4 chapters away, so as soon as we're done here and I kick everybody out, I'm going to finish it up.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
but it's and I like it. It's pretty awesome, and it leads to something that we're going to cover next time, right? Next time we're going to talk about how do you feel with modern technology in D&D fantasy world.
Okay, cool.
It has some of it in the book.
Interesting.
So
That's
we're
like
going
we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, we were. So we're going to put it into a topic
Nice.
for next time.
I am reading employee manuals.
Hmm.
It's thrilling,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
Smurfy, did you hear that? Morgan definitely does not look like
So
a
dry.
Ricky Martin girl, even at 13.
I appreciate that comment.
Fair enough. All right, what are you reading?
I don't read anything. Reading's for nerds.
Get
Wait a
out
minute.
of here.
Wait. Point.
What?
So then what are you reading, nerd?
I'm not reading anything.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
All right, I can't. Oh my gosh, him because I haven't read anything for
Hey,
pleasure.
you're getting up there, right?
And
We could
Months.
subcategory. What are you playing? I got back into Dead Cells, which is a lot of fun.
okay.
I've been looking to pick up more stuff for the Switch, but there's just been too many games to choose from.
It is way too many games to choose
They just
from.
came out with Duck Game for the Switch, and it's
What is
a Duck Game. you play as ducks and like these weapons. And
There
you try to
sounded
be-
like there was
I
one too many
love-
K noises in there, right?
No,
Oh.
I just wanted to make sure I heard duck right.
Oh.
I
yeah,
really,
a duck game. Duck
I
game is
already
for the
like it.
Switch.
There's something weird going on
It's
there.
$12. You just buy it and you will
All
enjoy
right.
it. I guarantee it. It's got online mode. It's awesome.
I'm gonna buy it this weekend.
I'm not playing anything.
Anthony loves it.
Most
Come to the store with
recently-
Anthony. I will bring my Switch and we can play together.
Most recently, I've played Big Book of Madness, which is a fun game, and I am looking forward to having you on for pre-gaming with Morgan to play
Yes.
it.
Okay.
It'll be interesting. It's a cooperative game, so we have to get along. Do you think we can do it?
Actually, yes, because I like co-op games.
Awesome.
I
good.
don't like.
You don't
PvP.
like really?
I'm not a big PvP player,
Mm.
especially like Magic or those types
I
of
keep
games.
leaning forward. Like, it's so hot in here. Like, keeps getting stuck to the back of the chair.
Actually, that's part of the plan.
All right. The
Oh, all right.
next segment is what are we watching? I just watched a documentary last night called "Waiting for Superman."
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, so many tears. It was intense. It was about the public school system.
Mm.
So if you feel like crying over the public school system in the state of America, watch.
Why would DC put out
watch that.
a documentary
Oh,
about this
stop
public
it.
school system?
It was not a DC movie.
Then why steal the title?
It was in quotation marks.
Whatever.
How about you?
I have not watched or listened to anything in 2 weeks. I have been coding. I've been writing code. I've been developing the Super Show game app. I can now say that because it is done
That's awesome.
and it looks awesome. And we just have to debug a few things, but the app will be. It's looking good.
Good.
I was
That's
able to
awesome.
play an entire game today. It went a little too quick, but I was able to play an entire game today. I got a couple of things to work out,
Cool.
and the team is doing
Awesome.
doing a
Good
great
job.
job. So, in lieu of that, I have not been able to watch or listen to anything.
Okay.
I've been nose down in code.
I went to the movies for the first time since probably The Force Awakens.
Wow.
I think.
What did you see?
Saw Avengers.
Oh, good.
Oh no, I take that back because I saw Infinity War. So I was
Gotcha.
like, so the first time I did movies since Infinity War.
Okay.
No, actually, I take that back.
Oh
because
my
I saw-
God.
because I forgot I saw Ant-Man in theaters.
All right.
Ant-
All right.
Ant-Man.
And I think is there anything else?
Oh, you saw Ant-Man with us
Yes.
at DexCon.
Dreamation.
No, DexCon.
Dexcon.
Are you coming to DexCon again with us this year?
I think I might be.
Awesome.
Yeah, I should be
don't
available
wanna be
that
by
weekend.
myself.
No, I
When is
It's in July. It's
Is
July.
it the July 4th again?
It is.
Ah.
But you don't have to come on the 4th. The 4th is
Yeah,
Thursday. The 4th is Thursday. You don't have to come.
Yeah, it's,
All right.
I mean, actually, if I'll have the day off, I'll just see
As
that
for listening to, I've been listening to Radio Lab, the podcast. They just recently came out with a new episode called Dinopocalypse Redux, which is a redropping of a old episode of theirs that was entitled Apocalyptical.
Chaotic Anarchy said POD also.
What?
So I'm not alone.
Oh,
Right on.
for his movie choice,
Yes.
band choice, yeah.
Yes.
That's funny. Apocalyptical is a story that they cover, breaking down the events of the extinction event of the dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
and it is absolutely fascinating. And it was just revealed that there's new evidence that this theory that they cover actually is what happened.
Space aliens.
Historically, they teach you that it's a long-term event, that a lot of these dinosaurs died as a result of the cooling temperatures and starvation and things like that. But they actually argue that all dinosaurs were made extinct within the course of a day. Within the course of the day that the asteroid hit.
Like just shockwave, just
Pretty much. And it's fascinating. So check that out. The original story, Apocalyptical, is actually online. So if you search Radiolab Apocalyptical, you can find it on YouTube. Or you can listen to it on iTunes podcasts, wherever you usually listen to your podcasts. It was really, really interesting.
I thought it had something to do with the oatmeal with the dinosaur eggs in it, and like when it heats up, like the eggs crack. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Oh my god.
You said Donapollo, it was like it just popped in my head.
It was so much better than my joke.
Too much. Get out of here. I don't want to hear it.
I
Okay.
like oatmeal.
We're gonna. I agree.
They make it. They try to make it like, oh no, it's got fun stuff in it. No, it's
I
just,
love
It's
oatmeal.
just oatmeal.
It's just
It's
oats.
just
It's
water
just hot
and
oats.
No, use milk. God, it's
You
life
ever-
Doesn't
changing.
matter.
Do you ever have farina? Like, my mom was making farina one time. I was like, that looks kind of okay. Like, I like rice pudding and stuff like that. It's like, maybe I'll try that. Like, I'm like, ugh. It's like
We're
super
getting off topic again.
Oh my god.
hot soup.
It's just like with grits, no good.
Yeah,
I
alright.
can't eat grits.
So you added a new subject.
I did. I added a new
topic.
subject because, as we know, Gen Con 2019 is right around the corner.
God, I know.
So, what? Wow.
Well, no, because I'm casting for it.
Yes. So John.
I've been in crunch mode trying to get stuff done for Gen Con.
So John has been in crunch mode trying to get Legendary Realms Terrain ready for Gen Con. So he's been casting that in between doing orders, which is great. But I just wanted to point out that I would like to thank. Where we're talking about? Oh, I'd like to thank.
Superman.
No,
Take it
Chaotic Anarchy. Recently, Chaotic Anarchy invited me into a Discord channel, and I've been enjoying it thoroughly, to be honest with you.
Good.
I'm not even in John's Discord. Oh wait, never mind. I am in John's Discord channel. It's the Legendary Realms Discord channel. And so Chaotic Anarchy runs a group called Thread Raiders. ThreadRaidersPodcast.com is also in our description down below, and they will be doing an Extra Life event at Gen Con, and they will also be doing a podcast at Gen Con.
Awesome.
Their events go up this Sunday. Tickets, registration for the event goes up this Sunday, and I'm just trying to pull up where it is. Hype your stuff. There we go. So I can pull up the information and give a little bit more visual. So there's going to be a D&D 5th edition event Friday, August 2nd from 4 to 10 p.m. That's drinking time, so that'll be fun. It's located at Gen Con. We have to get a little bit more specific than that, Chaotic Anarchy. There's a lot of hotels going on at Gen Con.
No, it's all of Gen Con. just guys with giant like banners up, just like roll a d20. Like, what happened? Like, all right, you're getting attacked, and just starts hitting you with the sign.
So, and then the Thread Raiders podcast will be Friday, August 2nd at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So what we will be doing as time goes on, week after week, we're just going to quickly go over the events that people get in touch with us about that are going on at Gen Con, so you guys can know, and then what our events were going to be. I think our events are very, very loose this year. I think it's more of we're working the booth, and after the booth, whoever's got room for us, that's where we're going to go.
Cool.
Because I know like
Super Show's doing it at Gen Con. They always do crazy stuff there.
Oh, if the game is ready, I may be doing some stuff with Super Show. That would be awesome.
Cool. But they still also have like their World Championship matches, which has like 80 people.
Yeah, don't threaten us with your voice. But yes, Super Show will be there too. We'll get their stuff there. But I would like to thank Chaotic Anarchy. We didn't have anything specifically from that group, but like I said, I've been in the Discord channel, and I just wanted to mention it. So figured to give a plug.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to our plugs, in fact. As I'm sure you can tell, all of the links to the content, the media that we discussed in tonight's episode is available in the description below. So if you're interested in taking a look at any of the tweets that you saw us mention, do check them out. Follow the content makers that we're discussing, because they really do make amazing stuff.
Yes.
The community on Twitter and, as you said, on Discord is really amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we have to say thank you also, because from the Discord channel we jumped over from 99. By the way, we had 99 subscribers in the last week, and now we're at 102. So thank you again for that. That gave us our custom URL.
Yes.
We have a custom YouTube URL now, so now it's not Googly Gok. Well, it'll be Googly Gok when we paste it to.
Sure.
But
now we're find you can search and find us at youtube.com.
No, butts.com.
/C/
fart.
Legendary Realms.
Hypercolon.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's a hypercolon,
you got
right?
a hypercolon.
Yeah,
Yes.
hypercolon.
Hypercolon.
Yeah.
So
You gotta
just to before we finish off or sign off, let's just jump to the comments really quick. Chaotic Anarchy said Apocalyptica is really good.
It is.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, go see it. Yes, I am enjoying for the Discord channel. So it's been fun, and I'm not really a social person. As much as you say I can talk, I was not always a social person. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And for someone who's played on stage, I have stage fright.
Aww.
That's why I would hide behind my guitar.
That's cute.
Like, you just can't see me.
And we're gonna meet Chaotic Anarchy at and the Thread Raiders group
That's
at Gen
awesome.
Con.
Good. I wish I was going. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That'll
Alame and
be
I
a
will
lot of fun.
we'll take photos. We'll put them up.
Cool.
We'll take videos if we can, and we'll
Sweet.
get them up on our channel.
That's great.
All right, where are we now, Morgan?
We are still amidst the plugs.
Okay.
Patreon is growing. You can be a part of it. There is a $5 tier that you can support us at and get access to all of our special content.
Should we? Do you think we should make note of here that that's the Legendary Realms Games Store Patreon,
Sure.
and that we will be putting up a Patreon for the Short Rest Chronicles / the Weekly Word group of its own, and we'll have its own tiers.
Sure.
And we're going to put that together over the next week, and that'll be up there so you can support us. Not that we don't want you to support Legendary Realms games, of course we do, which is Legendary Realms terrain and everything that goes along with it. But we just wanted to point out that we'll have a Patreon, and that Patreon will focus on our creative content, our being the Short Rest Chronicles group, and the creative content that comes out of there. Because there's way too much of it, and we need an outlet. We need an outlet. Damn it, we need an outlet. Okay, sorry.
Continue.
Okay, so please support our friends over at the TSR Games blog. We like everything that they do over there, and you should enjoy it too. Everybody should enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really wish that they would give me a link, and I would put it in the description. Oh wait, I have a link in an email. Never mind.
Perfect.
I'll put it in the description.
Awesome.
I'll get it out there. And go ahead. I'm sorry. You like Dave.
I do like Dave.
Dave's
And
cool. You don't
Master
like Dave?
Games,
No, we love
Dave
Dave.
Vanderwerf, and his
Dave's
weekly Facebook Live event.
I will make a quick announcement. Dave is actually joining us on the 30th.
Awesome. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes, he's joining us in 2 weeks. Chaotic Anarchy said that she would join us also
Woo.
for a live event.
That's great.
I have to double check. She told me when she was available. Don't threaten me. It's in my email. I have it written down. I have it in my calendar.
Live stream a Twister game.
Yes.
They put them on like one of those Skype robots. So
I think I might do that. That'd be awesome. It's not awesome. Not awesome at all.
It'd be real fun for the
And
elders.
also, we are going to get Dice Geeks on there now that we have our internet problem resolved. So we can Skype and do this. So
Okay.
we'll get Dice Geeks. So we have three good shows lined up.
Yeah.
John, thank you for joining us tonight.
It's been great. Thank you so much. I love having you on.
I like being here.
You're funny.
It's fun.
Wrap us up.
All right. Thank you again for watching. As always, you can follow us on Instagram at Legendary Realms Games, on Twitter at LR Games. You can follow our Patreon at... Oh, excuse me. I just messed up our Twitter handle. It's at LR Terrain, and our Patreon is at LR Games.
I am Rich Parla.
I'm Morgan West.
And I'm John.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
I don't know what buttons to press.
I swear, it's every week we go through this. Are we